Breaking news alerts, tonight's top stories, and weather before the first commercial. This is Local 12 News at 11.
Didn't know what to do. We ain't know where to go because we ain't got a back door.
Panic, chaos. A gunman opens fire in downtown Cincinnati.
Knowing that it was him, it kind of put me in shock.
Now the big question, why he killed 3 people and hurt 2 others. Tonight, a new clue in the investigation, and we learn new details about the suspect's disturbing past. You're looking live at Fountain Square, the heart of the city, a place always bustling with activity.
Tonight, it is silenced by a gunman intent on killing.
There are flowers along the base of the Tyler Davidson Fountain tonight. Meantime, the windows at the Fifth Third Center are being boarded up. People who work there are being told to stay home tomorrow. Good evening, everybody. There are new clues tonight in the downtown shooting investigation.
And we have learned new details about the suspect's background. Omar Santaperez walked into the skyscraper this morning with a gun and hundreds of bullets. Within minutes, a chilling call over police radios. Active shooter. This is not a drill. You can hear the gunshots in this video.
Freaking me out. He's got an M16. Jesus Christ. Holy dude.
Oh, look at that one guy running. Wow.
Holy God damn. Oh, man.
64-year-old Richard Newcomer, 48-year-old Luis Calderon, and 25-year-old Prithvi Kandepi, who came to Cincinnati from India for a job. Hamilton County's coroner, Lakshmi Samarko, posted this note tonight, wondering how you tell parents 10,000 miles away that they will never see their son again. And tonight, the Reds honored those victims.
Moments such as these often bring our attention to what really matters most: our families, our friendships, and the safety of all. Tonight, we come together as baseball fans and as citizens of this city we love so dearly to show our strength as a community in the face of adversity. At this time, to show our respect for the victims and appreciation for those called into action to protect us, we ask that you join us in a moment of silence.
Tonight, we've uncovered a series of minor violations committed by the suspect over the years and 2 curious lawsuits. Local 12's Dwayne Pullman is looking into that.
Police scoured Apartment 19 on Miami Avenue in North Bend, searching for clues about who 29-year-old Omar Santaperez is and what led him to go on the deadly shooting spree downtown. Neighbors did not want to talk on camera, but describe him as a loner. Several say he was often angry. Tony Henderson recognized Santaperez when his photo flashed on TV.
Well, would we wave like, how you doing?
Tonight, new and disturbing details are emerging about that man Tony waved to, including this $5 million lawsuit Santaperez filed in Hamilton County last December against NBC Universal and TD Ameritrade, claiming he was a victim of eavesdropping, intrusion, and defamation. That case was dismissed, but Santaperez filed a new case in June of this year, claiming CNBC and Ameritrade had hacked his computer to gain his real identity and were spying on him. While Santaperez's criminal record was clear here in Hamilton County, he did have brushes with the law, including these 2010 charges for disorderly conduct, for a brawl in Florida, and a charge of resisting arrest. For neighbors like Tony, the realization that they knew the shooter hits too close to home.
Scared, knowing that, that was actually him, that he's lived actually across the street.
And there are other criminal records for Santaperez I found in other states, too, including a 2014 case in Greenville, South Carolina, where Santaperez was arrested for trespass. This after he showed up at a store where he had been fired from and refused to leave. He was found guilty on that charge. Back at the apartment building, many of the people there say they just didn't really know him. That's part because he wasn't there long, but also he kept to himself so much. But there was an overwhelming sense from some who told me he just wasn't right.
Yeah. All right, Dwayne, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
And investigators will be scouring Omar Santa Perez's life to try to find the reason why he opened fire today. But police officers have found a new clue. Anjanette Levy is downtown with the video you'll see only on Local 12. Anjanette.
Well, Cammie, we're here on East Court Street near the Kroger building. We were here earlier this evening when we noticed a couple of police detectives and uniformed police officers taping off part of the street. They were telling people that live on this street that they were not allowed to walk down here until they determined that the area was safe. Now, officers were on patrol earlier tonight when they found the vehicle that Omar Santa Perez drove down here this morning. We were the only station here as police investigated. Now, because of what Santa Perez had done, a bomb detecting dog was brought in to make sure that there were not any explosives in the car. The dog checked out the car, and then police opened it and looked inside. They photographed that car, and it was later towed away. So we can only assume at this point that Santa Perez drove down here, parked on East Court Street today, and made his way down to Fountain Square at some point. I spoke with a woman who lives in an apartment building here. She said she was pretty frightened to think about the fact that she was walking out of her apartment building a little before 9 this morning. So she may have been walking down the street with Santa Perez as he made his way down to Fountain Square. Reporting live downtown, Anjanette Levy, Local 12 News. Cammie, back to you.
All right, Anjanette, thank you. And tonight, all around Ohio, flags are flying at half-staff for the victims. These are outside Cincinnati's police headquarters in the West End. Governor John Kasich ordered they stay that way until Monday.
I was watering flowers right across the street from the scene when I saw a CPD officer pull up, leave their vehicle, and pull their gun and run towards the Fifth Third Center.
The call over the scanner about an active shooter, it's what police train for, but hope they never have to do. Well, today they ran into the chaos, and as Angela Ingram shows us, that saved lives.
As the officers approached the lobby area of the Fifth Third Center, they encountered a lone gunman.
That man was armed with only one gun, but a ton of ammunition.
He had multiple magazines, and he did, I believe, somewhere in the neighborhood of a couple of hundred rounds of ammunition.
The first call came in at 9:11 this morning.
This is crazy. I told you I heard the gunshots, man.
And in an instant, panic inside of the Fifth Third building and outside. A witness recording this cell phone video. In relatively a short period of time, the suspect shot 5 people.
Shot the glasses, made the glass shatter. We saw that from sitting on the floor. Started smelling the gunpowder. She was that close. Didn't know what to do. We ain't know where to go because we ain't got a back door or none of that.
So my thing was to go get my keys, lock the doors. And in the midst of that, you just hear shots after shots after shots.
4 Cincinnati police officers opened fire, shooting and killing the suspect, but then the process of sweeping the building to make sure there was no longer a threat.
We are also confident at this point that the shooter acted alone and there are no additional threats to the public.
Mayor John Cranley calling it a painful day, but says while the city mourns, citizens will also heal.
The fear that has plagued too many cities hit home today, and it's hard for it all to sink in.
And Cincinnati's police chief says there is body camera video from those officers who bravely ran into that building behind me. He also says there's surveillance video from here on Fountain Square and also inside of the building as well. Tomorrow there is a press conference scheduled between the hours of 12 and 4. The police chief saying that video will likely be released at that time. Reporting live, Angela Ingram, Local 12 News.
Chief Elliot Isaac got a standing ovation today at City Council. Councilmember Wendell Young told him if not for the rapid response by his officers, the body count would have been much higher. The gunman shot a total of 5 people. The Louisville Courier-Journal reports one of them took 12 bullets. Her brother-in-law tells the paper she is in shock but in fair condition. The other surviving victim is in critical condition. For those who witnessed what happened firsthand, those who rushed to the scene, the coming days and weeks will likely be traumatic. Local 12's Tessa DeTiro is at UC Medical Center with what they and perhaps all of us should consider doing now.
Dr. David Nelson from Cincinnati Children's says even if you didn't know one of the victims, today hurts for everyone in the city.
Unfortunately, this stuff happens so much that it's not a surprise to me.
So how can you start healing?
So we really recommend a lot of self-care. Try to keep your sleep hours the same. Try to have good intake of nutritious food. Try to exercise. These are all things that help dissipate stress.
If you're seeing flashbacks, having nightmares, or feeling on high alert, Dr. Nelson says reach out to someone and tell them how you feel.
But psychologically, we're still trying to deal with that the world doesn't seem safe. And I think that's where we have to be supportive of one another and help each other process whatever we're feeling.
And the doctor says instead of retreating from the downtown, everyone should consider doing the opposite.
But I think it's important to be supportive of those people who conduct their business there. And if we can get down there and kind of show them that we're coping well and we know what to do, I think it's good for the community.
At UC Medical Center, Tessa DeTiro, Local 12.
The Cincinnati sign on the side of the Duke Energy Center is lighted in blue tonight with a white stripe. It's a salute to the police officers whose faced down gunfire tonight, not only saving lives but surviving it themselves. Cincinnati strong.
That's a very fitting tribute, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yes.
I like it.
So it's time for our hometown to try to heal. There is no way to make sense, of course, out of what happened today.
But those who live and work downtown are beginning the process of moving forward. Local 12's Kyle Inskeep is live downtown now with how they're coming together. Kyle.
Yeah, Cammie and Rob, there is still crime scene tape up here at the Fifth Third Center. And I talked to a man who lives and works downtown. He works just about a block away from this building. And I asked him how he's planning to move forward. He said he's not going to allow this tragedy to impact how he operates on a day-to-day basis. But he said every time that he walks by this building, he is going to think of this shooting and the terrible tragedy that followed. Prayers offered and candles lit during an interfaith vigil to remember the 3 lives lost Thursday morning inside the Fifth Third Center.
It hit home. It happens every day, and we can't just let this be another day that we walk by.
As investigators continue searching for answers as to why this happened, those who live and work downtown are looking for a way to move forward.
But I think every time I walk by, it's going to be in the back of my head. And it's unfortunate because Fountain Square does a lot of fun activities, but it just feels like every time I'm here, I'm going to have that thought in my head that this actually just happened here.
Crime scene tape still surrounds the building where the shooting happened, and just steps away, 2 local men surrounded people with love through hugs.
So we go out and give free hugs, and then we give people a handwritten heart that people have filled out all over the Midwest.
The pair is part of an organization that aims to spread kindness and hope following acts of violence. They were in Orlando following the Pulse nightclub massacre a couple of years ago, and more recently they traveled to Marshall County, Kentucky for a school shooting.
We hope one day stuff like this doesn't happen, so we don't have to be out here giving free hugs for any bad reason. We can come out giving free hugs just to celebrate love.
And they say it's love and hope that will help the city of Cincinnati start to heal from this. And another way the city is moving forward is by honoring the victims of this tragedy. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. here at Fountain Square, a city councilor is organizing a special memorial service. And then at 5 p.m., the United Way will be holding a candlelight vigil also here at Fountain Square. Reporting live downtown tonight, Kyle Inskeep, Local 12 News.
All right, Kyle, thank you. And the big question still hanging over all of this is why did this man walk into a Cincinnati building and kill 3 people? And we're digging to find an answer to that question. We will have any breaking details overnight on Facebook and Twitter. And the Good Morning Cincinnati team will have the very latest for you beginning at 4:25 a.m. The families sometimes wait years for an arrest in a loved one's murder.
Just ahead, the new way police are attacking those cold cases and bringing closure.
And this is what's left of Tropical Storm Gordon tonight. This is going to pay us a visit this weekend. I'll show you what that means for our weather, and I'll also show you where some funnel clouds were spotted today in the tri-state and pictures of those funnel clouds. That's coming up in about 5 minutes in your Weather Authority forecast.
It's one thing to lose your loved one to natural causes. It's quite another to lose the person you love to murder. Families sometimes have to wait years for answers and for an arrest.
But there are changes in how the Cincinnati Police Department investigates murders that could solve cold cases in the city and the region. Local 12's Angela Ingram has the story.
We were very close because he was my firstborn, my first child.
2 parents was born in New Zealand
and we moved here when he was 5.
Living in different cities, have one thing in common.
And my son, Jason Terry Wynn, he was killed on March 1st, 2006.
CJ was 20. I always say he was 19 because he only had a chance to be 20 for 3 days.
Terry Jones and Rebecca Sandel are living parallel lives. Both of their sons' cases are unsolved.
And of course I miss him a whole hell of a lot. It's almost been 13 years.
My biggest concern is, will this person reoffend? And has another murder taken place that was done by the same person?
Investigators with Cincinnati Police Department's homicide unit have the same concern.
My philosophy has always been the best way to prevent a future homicide is to solve a past one.
In addition to the officers, there's Karen Rumsey.
There has to be somebody there for these families.
A civilian.
We call families once a month, every month.
Who works as an advocate, bridging the gap between the officers and homicide victims' families. Rumsey reminds families that officers are still working on cold cases.
As I know you call them cold cases. I don't mind the word cold because things that get cold also get hot. But I tell every family, and I don't try to sugarcoat it with people, is that every case is solvable.
To help with that mission, there are now changes with how CPD investigates cold cases.
Typically in CIS, historically, we've had 2 detectives, 1 to 2 detectives that are specifically assigned to work cold cases. Cincinnati is the largest police agency in the area, in the tri-state area. So we have detailed people to other task forces. One of the ideas that we came up with was actually to have people detailed to us.
There are now agents from the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation and officers from other jurisdictions embedded, working side by side with CPD's homicide unit. This helps them tie one or a group of violent offenders to multiple murders and share information to solve homicides regionally.
There's no magical line between the city and the county and some of these other outlying jurisdictions.
It's a change that's already working. Police arrested Corman Harrell for allegedly gunning down Judson Roper in a murder-for-hire plot, and Tremaine Watson was arrested this year for killing Michael Johnson in 2011.
There is no stop, there is no quit, there is no discontinuation on those investigations. Very, very sincere and very goal-oriented in closing each and every one of the homicides we can, whether it's a current and active case or a cold case.
It's a commitment that officers here make to the families. And though they're in different cities, both Terry and Rebecca are hoping changes in cold case investigations will bring them peace.
He would have given you his last $5 if you needed it. And I miss him. I miss him so much. And my little girl misses him, and so many people miss him. My son didn't deserve what was done to him.
From Local 12, the Weather Authority, this is John Gumb's Hour by Hour forecast.
Well, the heavy weather returned to the area today. A lot of people saw a lot of rain.
Yes, and colder temperatures, or at least cooler temperatures on the way too, right, John?
Yeah, cooler temperatures and a lot more rain coming. And I'll tell you what, not only do we see rain, thunder, lightning, we had some funnel clouds that were spotted today. This one in particular near Danville, Ohio. That's in Highland County, just south of Hillsborough. That funnel cloud picture taken there by Dan Fisher. And another one here, this one from Scott Fulkerson, again, in the same location. There it is, and I want to zoom in a little closer. This particular type of funnel cloud is what we call a land spout. It's not associated with a severe thunderstorm, not associated with a mesocyclone or a spinning part of a thunderstorm. Instead, these form in a stagnant atmosphere like we saw today as the air rises into a developing thunderstorm, and you get this little spin that occurs. These rarely touch down. They're not associated with severe weather, and they're hardly ever detected by Doppler radar. If you want to send us weather pictures, go to local12.com and click on the Chime In tab there. All right, let's take you into the morning. We don't expect a whole lot in the way of any rain or active weather in the morning. We'll start in the 70s. Can't rule out a stray shower. A little patchy fog not out of the question, but into the afternoon tomorrow, more scattered storms and a lot cooler. We're only going to be in the upper 70s, and I'll tell you, we'll have to watch for Friday night football games impacted by lightning tomorrow. There will be scattered storms roaming in the area. Won't be all of them impacted, but a few could be. Tonight, here's our next weather maker. It's what's left of Tropical Storm Gordon down here in Arkansas. A lot of deep tropical moisture with this that's going to push our way with a stalled out frontal boundary just to our south. Already flash flood watches from Arkansas all the way into Indiana. It's likely these will be extended our way come tomorrow. So into the afternoon tomorrow, here come some storms again developing. Some of these may produce heavy rain and more scattered storms expected tomorrow evening. But instead of the rain fading away tomorrow night, those rain chances only go up as the night goes on, as that tropical moisture moves our way. And by Saturday morning, look at this. This is heavy rain tracking through the tri-states. Some could be very heavy Saturday. And as the remnant low from Gordon works in here Sunday, we could be looking at rounds of very heavy rain on Sunday. Some locations could easily pick up 2 to 4 inches of rain. This model has around 3 1/4 inches right on top of Cincinnati. Another model shows a little bit less. But any way you look at it, we'll have to keep a close watch on things into the weekend for the possibility of flooding. Here's your 7-day forecast. Scattered rain and storms tomorrow. 78 your high, and a cooler weekend. Low 70s at best. Rain likely Saturday. Some thunderstorms also possible, and rain around on Sunday. Some of that rain could be heavy. Rain finally moves out of here early Monday. Could see a lingering shower early in the day. Tuesday, a dry day with highs in the 70s, and we're back into the 80s Wednesday and Thursday with some slight rain chances returning. Keep it with the Weather Authority through the weekend, though, as this active weather moves in, and keep it with us. We've got a look at sports up next.
The Local 12 Sports Report, sponsored by Infinity of Cincinnati.
After that 0-3 start to last season, the Bengals are bent on winning their opener this time around. They are underdogs against the Colts, but when you look at both teams, it would be shocking if they lost in Indianapolis. Not surprising at all if they cruise past the Colts. Not overly talented as it is, no one knows what to expect from their star, Andrew Luck. Due to scheduling and his injuries, this will be the first time the Bengals see Andrew Luck since 2014. He was protected, didn't play much in the preseason, but he professes to be fully healthy and ready to do his part in beating the Bengals.
Doing my job, yeah. It's, I think for everybody in this locker room, you focus on your own job, do the best that you can. You let coaches do theirs, you let your teammates do theirs. I mean, that's the beauty of football. I mean, it's the greatest team sport there is. You have to do your job well, and you have to trust that your teammates, the guys next to you, will do their jobs well.
Watch the Bengals try to wipe that smile off Andrew Luck's face and protect Andy Dalton. It's live indoors Sunday at 1 on your home for the Bengals, Local 12. The Reds moved up their start times this month, but that's not the only difference, as Tucker Barnhart reflects on a sad day in the city. Most visiting Major League teams stay at the Westin at Fountain Square. From their windows, or if they were out for a morning walk, the Padres would have witnessed the events surrounding this morning's shooting. You can walk to Great American Ballpark from there, so it hit home, especially for the Reds, observing a moment of silence for victims.
I'm not directly involved, obviously, but you feel like you are a little bit with it being the city that you spend the majority of your year in. And it just shows that, I mean, it can happen anywhere, and it sucks because it's people going to work, it's people going to the bank, it's people just out with their families, and it's terrible.
Tucker Barnhart's put on the gear, caught Luis Castillo tonight, down 2-0 in the fourth. They didn't seem to have a book on rookie Francisco Mejia, who took Castillo deep twice. He's given up 27 of the Reds' gopher balls, the only team in the major to surrender 200 of them. They hit 3 of them off in the night. Now 5-0 in the bottom of the fourth. The chance to get back in it. Bases loaded, no outs, but after back-to-back strikeouts, it was up to Dilson Herrera, who smoked one to left. That would have cleared the bases, if not for a circus catch by Hunter Renfroe. Scott Schebler broke up the shutout in a huge way. A colossal solo shot to center that was so deep, it would have won a fan of Toyota, except it went over the truck. The Reds lost 6-2. They continue tomorrow with another 6:40 start. We hope this week's Friday night final will not be filled with high school football suspended by lightning. We'll leave that up to John Go.